Hi everybody! Today we're back with another Claude Code tutorial. I'll be showing you how to use Claude Skills, which is one of their pre-built features that can enhance your workflow. Let's get right into it. So what are Claude Skills? Claude Skills are like training manuals that Claude can actually reference. It's like teaching a new employee of your company's way of doing things, or if you are your own company, it's teaching the AI how you typically operate. So you explain it once, you give it as much context and as much instructions at the first time, and then Claude remembers it forever, and you can forever reference this specific skill. You don't have to copy paste the same instructions every time. So let's say I want to create a skill that would help me make a presentation for a topic. Then this is a skill that your Claude AI will remember forever, and you can always use a command to use that skill again. The requirements for this is that you need a Pro plan, a Max plan, or a Team and Enterprise plan. The setting must be turned on in a way that you have to turn on your code execution. So skills require you to turn this on. A free tier does not have access to skills, so you have to make sure that you are on a paid plan. There's two ways you can create skills. There's a conversation method, and then the second, more advanced manual method is where you write the skill markdown files yourself. This is where it gets interesting, and this is where you can customize it to your own liking. So we will go through both of these examples to see where you can best use either one of these skills. So let's understand the skill categories in settings. So when you go to settings, you have to go to capabilities, and then you can see skills. You'll see skills organized into these categories, and these are what it means. I'll teach you how to go to settings in a bit, but for now, I'll teach you what document skills are and what example skills are, which are two of the breakdowns that Claude has provided us. So document skills are the core production skills that power Claude's document creation capabilities. These are the skills that Anthropic built to let Claude create actual files. This includes things like making PowerPoint presentations. So this creates PowerPoint presentations with specific layouts, charts, and speaker notes. You also have Excel spreadsheets, so we love the spreadsheets, and these are working with formulas, formatting, and charts. And then we have the Word document presentation skill as well, which allows you to make track changes, comments, and formatting for your Word document files. And then lastly, we have the PDF files, which fills PDF forms, merges documents, and extracts text. So the key points is that these are source available. You can see how they work on GitHub for learning, but they're not open source. They're on by default for paid users, but you may have to turn on the Claude skills either way to activate them beforehand. So as mentioned, they activate automatically when you ask for documents. So you can say things like make a presentation for me, and this will immediately activate this PowerPoint presentation skill. Secondly, we have example skills. So what are example skills? These are a collection of skills that demonstrate what's possible with Claude's skill systems. These showcase different use cases, from creative use cases to technical to enterprise use cases. So some of these categories might include creative and design. So the most popular one would be the front-end design. So if you're making a new app, or if you are making a website design, or you are doing anything that's related to web designing, this is what you should be leveraging because it avoids the generic, AI slop, purple background design. So this will allow you to have very distinctive typography and very bold colors that you may not necessarily have with the normal, web design that you see with most AI tools out there. And then you can also do very generative art. You can also leverage their canvas design, which is for posters and visual arts. So this will prompt the output to be in PNG or PDF file. There's also Theme Factory, which allows you to have 10 professional themes for consistent styling when it comes to designing. And then you can also create animated GIFs that's optimized for Slack. And then when you have the more development and technical skills, we have the MCP builders, which allows you to use MCP for different tool integrations that you need to use for skills. There's also web app testing, and then the skill creator, which is a meta skill that helps you build other skills, which we'll go into as well. And then for enterprise purposes, you can have internal comms, which are, company format status reports or newsletters, and also brand guidelines, which will allow you to update your brand colors, typography consistently. And these are the things that you can update according to what your brand guidelines are. So most of these are open source. You can toggle them on and off individually based on what you need. And most of these you can actually call it directly. So let's say I want to be building a website. I can tell Claude to use specific skills like the front-end design skill to, stress what I like about, different types of web design, and to avoid using the purple gradient sort of outlook that most of these web apps would have. Now I'm going to teach you how to do custom skills as well, which is where you do your own skills markdown files. This is where it gets interesting. Let's take a look at all the other examples right now. So going back to the terminal launch that you see now, I'm now prompted with the normal login that you see. What we want to do now is that we want to actually go to plugins to install our skills. I have it installed, but I'll show you exactly how we can get to this directory where they will prompt you with the example skills or the other skills. Let me show you how to do it. So when you get started, go straight to your terminal, and then we will go to plugins. So this is where you manage all your plugins, whether it is, the skill plugins that you created or the Claude Code plugins. So once we put plugins, these are all the plugins that I have installed from the various sources that I have personally downloaded myself. What you can do is that you can go straight to Marketplace. And so let's go to Marketplace together. We can see Marketplace, there's the Anthropic Agent Skills, and there's also the Claude Plugins Official. So this is what I would highly recommend you to download, which is the Claude Plugin Officials, where you can see all the plugins that Claude has personally added. And this is where it gets interesting. So first you can maybe browse the plugins. So there's 40 plugins in this Claude Official plugins that they have. So front-end design, as I mentioned earlier, is the most used one. You can upload these individually, but I would highly recommend just uploading the entire package, just so you have everything in your hands when you need them. So for example, as mentioned earlier, there's front-end designs, which is for website development. There's like GitHub, there's feature dev review for development as well. There's code review, which a lot of people would tend to leverage. I won't walk through every single plugin, but these are all the examples below. And then when we go to the discovery, you can see these are all the ones I've discovered so far, and these are all the install plugins. So what I would highly recommend is after downloading all of the Claude plugin officials, you can also go to Anthropic Agent Skills and download the document skills and then the example skills, which are also two of the ones that I've laid out earlier. So once you have this plugin installed, you can easily use it already. It takes about 1 or 2 minutes to install it. Now that we have these skills installed, it's time to put it to test. So first, I'm going to do something very, very simple, which is to ask it to do a presentation. So let's dive right into it. So I want to create a presentation about how to use AI in the modern age, make it up to 8 slides, and make it look modern. You can leverage Claude Skills, which is the presentation skills. So let's take a look. Now Claude came back and said, I'll create a modern presentation about using AI in the modern age with up to 8 slides. It will start by plotting the content and the design approach, and then also taking into consideration this PowerPoint skill that we've told it to leverage. So now it's creating all the slides and we just have to wait. It's on slide 4 at the moment and there's just 8 to go. Although it's taking a while, we can now see the examples that is created already. So in just a couple of minutes, you can see that Claude has leveraged this presentation skill and then created slides for us. So let's take a look at the examples. So this is obviously the purple skill issue, but we haven't used the front-end skill design yet. And this is just version 1 of the presentation skill that is used. So this is why it still has the purple annotation that vibe coding apps or presentations usually look like. So it's doing everything that's we're asking it to do. So this is the agenda. We didn't even provide any information on what content we want this to create. So so Claude actually created this fully autonomously, which is very cool to see. So understanding AI fundamentals. Let's look at slide 4. AI applications in daily life. It's even created these like boxes, business transformation, the numbers and also the key impact areas. And then there's also ethical considerations, future trends and opportunities, etc. So obviously I would make some changes to this current slides. And the good part about Claude is that you can edit this very easily, where you can just tell Claude, okay, look at slide 1 or look at slide 2. These are the changes I want to make. So I would make quite a bit of changes, but as a first iteration, without any given context on what the topic actually is, I think it's quite successful that it's created a presentation for me using this skill. With the second example, I want to test out the front-end design skill to see whether it can elevate my website design. So we'll use the same example as my previous video, which is a to-do list app. So I will ask Claude to make me a simple to-do list app. Do not use Claude Skills for now. So I want to actually compare the before and after of like not using Claude Skills versus using Claude Skills. So currently I'm just asking it to not use Claude Skills for now. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so now Claude came back with the results, and guess what? It's a purple gradient background again. This is an example before using the skill. So this is what I want to clarify. So now I want to ask Claude to do this task again, but leveraging the front-end design skills. Let's see what it does. So I'm gonna ask it to do the exact same thing. Can you do this to-do list app, but now leveraging the front-end design skill. Okay, let's refresh. Wow. This is the results after using the front-end design skill. So it looks much more elevated, it looks less boring, and now I actually want to use this to-do list app. So with just one sort of design skill integration, I was able to turn it from a purple design gradient style to this very creative looking to-do list app that I've never seen before. It even has super cool animations. So for example, if I want to type in, I need to do research today, I want to add it here. There's this pink color that it changes to. And then you can see here, once you finish it, there's a very cool animation and it changes color as well. So overall, extremely elevated in terms of design compared to my first version. Lastly, I want to show you how to build a custom skill together. So in building a custom skill, all you have to do is go to Claude Chatbot and just talk to it. So for example, we can say, let's create a skill together using your skill creator skill. First, ask me what the skill should do. So every time when you start, you have to kind of treat Claude as an interviewer. So it will interview you based on the skill that you want to create. So for example, it will start by reading the skill creator documentation to understand what is the best approach here. And then you should tell Claude what should the skill do. Describe your skill in a very specific format. So you can say, okay, this is a very specific workflow that you repeat often that you want the skills to know. Working with a particular tool or file format, a domain-specific knowledge for your work, or anything that you need Claude to handle better. So once you have all this, you can tell Claude and give it as much context as you can. For example, what I wanted to do was that I wanted to create a skill that helps me write my YouTube scripts in my style. So Claude will come back with a couple more questions to prompt you to answer it. So you have to tell Claude what exactly you want this scripting to be and what is your style. So as mentioned before, the more context, the better. Obviously, this is just an example, but usually I would give a little bit more context to Claude. So for example, if I want to give a context that I do YouTube tutorials or I do educational content, I would typically share examples of my scripting style that I typically do. Claude will also ask you what trigger should activate this skill. So what would you need to say to Claude for Claude to use this skill? So I can say something like, when I want to do YouTube scripting, I want you to always think of using this as a brainstorming method or a method to help me with my scripting. Once that's done, Claude can help me create my YouTube script skill. So once it understood what I needed, it created a skill markdown file with my customized YouTube scripting writing content manager of some sort. I will show you what the example looks like. So when you click it in, you can see this markdown file. This is the output that Claude will give me. So title, estimated length, intro, main content, and the outro, which is the designated sort of split that I've told Claude to do. And these are the tips that this skill should know. So tips for effective scripting would be aim for 5 minutes, which is what I wanted. for the length of my video. So each main section should only be 1 or 2 minutes because I want it to be very, very concise. Keep the demos focused, cut out all the unnecessary parts. So this skill should only allow the AI to, give me very specific outputs in the format that I want. So this will heavily be a good sort of assistant for me when I'm making YouTube videos. So once it's done, Claude will present you with this file, and then they will tell you that your YouTube scriptwriter, for example, this is the skill I created, is ready. To use it, you simply have to download or copy my skills, and then I have to install it in Claude. And once that's installed, all I have to do is say, write me a YouTube script about X topic, and then this skill will immediately be activated. In terms of how you can upload this, so once you download or copy my skills, I have to go to settings. So let me teach you where to go. So this is my settings, and then this will prompt me to the capabilities section. And once you go to capabilities, you can see skills, add your skills, and it's immediately activated already. I think it ports over immediately once you made a skill and then activated it. So once every time I need to write my script, all I have to do is call for this skill and I have it all sorted. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you learned a thing or two about Claude Skills. The next video, I'll teach you how to create agents and sub-agents. Thank you. Bye-bye.